Good Caherlock. Minister, I'm very happy to get the opportunity to speak here tonight on this very important topic. Protecting jobs and supporting businesses is an issue that is particularly relevant at this time in the Midlands, and specifically to my own constituency of Laois Offaly, which has been extremely hard hit by a number of threats to employment. These threats include the just transition process, the dire impact that this has had on employment levels at Bord na Móna, and most recently the threats to the forestry and tree felling sector. All of these problems were systematic within my own constituency before the COVID emergency ever arose. They have affected long-term employees and seasonal workers alike. I've received numerous contacts from key local employers and sawmills and businesses which support hundreds, if not thousands, of jobs, both directly and indirectly. They are shocked at the chaos and dysfunction that continues to apply to the licensing element of the forestry sector, and I would call on the government here tonight to ensure that this is resolved as soon as possible, because what these sawmills and indeed farmers and everyone involved are seeing is massive levels of appeals going in under the ecology heading, with the impact being a complete destabilisation of jobs potential. This cannot continue and must be urgently resolved in order to protect thousands of jobs, up to 12,000 jobs in the forestry sector. Following the publication of the first interim report of the Just Transition Commissioner, I supported the view that a range of measures needed to be taken to ensure ongoing job creation and retention in the Midland counties. Indeed, the Commissioner made it very clear that an immediate sense of urgency must be developed with respect to the developing employment potential of the Midlands and counties like Offaly and Laois in particular. Has that sense of urgency been maintained now that the focus is off the just transition process? The reason I'm highlighting these issues is that they speak to major deficits in terms of a comprehensive job protection strategy. On the one hand, we are here today talking about the latest government moves to protect and support jobs, while on the other hand, we must accept that thousands of jobs, particularly in the Midlands, are under very serious threat from the way in which government has handled its response and not handled its response to certain sectors. These jobs are also under threat because government has taken a very specific policy direction in terms of what it is willing to prioritise and in terms of what it is not willing to prioritise. For example, it is not willing to prioritise the peat sector in the Midlands because government has given that priority to the pursuit of a so-called just transition process that has yet to instil any real confidence and that it can create high levels of job growth, because that's questionable. Ecological concerns and the imposition of regulatory directives from Europe with respect to the forestry sector are prioritised, regardless of how this is undermining the very existence of the sector. Moving on to SMEs, we need to protect SMEs, the likes of the hospitality, hotel and tourism sector, in addition to jobs in entertainment and arts also. It is very clear from the many emails and phone calls that we have had from desperately concerned local businesses and those working in the entertainment and arts sector that this must receive priority and indeed an urgent response. We must hold structured dialogue with the key stakeholders to allow them to advocate across government to ensure the needs of SMEs are taken into account. And I'll just want to mention also that we must support new projects and businesses and help them to get off the ground. One particular project that currently needs support from government and Laois Offaly TDs is the Banher Chilling project, which has been hampered and held up by unclear guidance from the Evaluation Committee of the Immigrant Investor Programme.